The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago, for we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day.
Joe Rogan is getting blapped by interdimensional creatures, and AI is serving up new demonic lore. We're going to talk about all that. Plus, we're going to scold Mason, for her road rage. We got a bunch of emails from the last episode that we did. I don't know if she's going to join us, but we are going to publicly shame her. A lot of you folks have written in, and it's been wonderful. Good morning, guys. Very happy to see you. Thank you for joining us. It is a very chilly Monday morning here in Florida. It's cold as shit, dude. And I know, to the people from up north, you go, it's not that cold. Once you acclimate to the warm weather, a little cold snap really throws you for a loop. Thank you guys for joining us. Before we get into the content, let's talk about where you can support the show if you should decide to do so. Boop. Patreon.com is a great place to do it. You can see we're constantly updating. We're in a transitionary period right now. I am going from male to female. No, I have tried to take some of the stuff off of TopLobsta's plate, and I'm trying to get the Patreon up to date. So there's a little bit of a lapse. I got to get into the right work mode. So I know we're lagging behind. Hopefully you guys bear with us. It's only going to be a day or so before this thing is, but probably later on today, everything will be fully updated. You can even see that there's Bohemian Grove footage. Is that like 6 hours? That might be 6 hours. Actually, let me go and check that out. Oh, no, that's just an hour of it. That's the one with Sam Tripoli. But all the Bohemian Grove footage exists on Patreon, so if you're ever interested in going back and seeing that, we still got to make all kinds of promos from that. And, Sam Hyde's team hit us up and said, can you give us some footage so that we know what we're dealing with, because we're trying to get him to headline the next event. And I'm like, sheesh, man, that means I got to produce that shit. Anyway, guys, patreon.com/Nephilim Death Squad. Great place to support the show. And if you're looking to support me directly, at the bottom of the screen there, you'll see David Corbo7 on Cash App, on Venmo, on PayPal. That's a great place to do it. Guys, later on in the show, we're going to open up the lines in the second half of the show after a brief intermission, a pee break. And if you want to call in live, 321-209-8551 is the place that you can do it to. You can do it to. Isn't that cool? So if you're one of those folks that wants to chime in and say something, reasonable, don't be an animal, that's the place to do it. Guys, I have been hard at work, TopLobsta and I, all weekend. Maybe I'll show it off. You think we show it off? Yeah, I'll show it off real quick. Let's see how this translates. Is that camera one? Check this out, guys. This is producing in real time. What we did was we're going to co-op this entire area. This is all becoming NDS Studios. Let me show you what it looks like outside the double doors. Turns out I can't do that. Turns out I can't do that at all. I tried to, and it unplugged itself. Anticlimactic. I'll have to post pictures later on. It's dark out there. Yeah, I know. All right, well, that was a flub. I guess we should get into content to try to rebound from that. I got to touch this thing now. Hold on. Let me go touch this. It's got to focus on me. Unbelievable. Maybe I could figure out a way to, maybe if I make a post about it during the intermission, I can come back and show you guys. The wires are taut, so as soon as you start spinning the camera, it unplugs. Okay, what we're going to do, state of the art. All right, yeah, I was a welder. That explains my inability to work technology in any meaningful way. All right, let's get straight into the content here. I named the episode, Joe Rogan has alien dreams or something to that effect. I don't know what this is going to be like. I like to watch the content in real time with you guys, right? I don't want to spoil it for myself, although I really don't know what the benefit of that is. But I do like doing it. So let's get into this one real quick, and we'll go boop. So here we have Joe Rogan. This is actually from Astral. Astral's an interesting dude. I mean, he's balls deep in the booty hole of aliens in very many ways. But very cool guy. You can't expect everybody to be on the same page as you at all times, right? Had him on my show. I guess it would have been the Ravens Watch. It was one of the last episodes of the Ravens Watch, and it was on the topic of remote viewing. And he does a remote viewing, what would you call it, experiment with his viewers, with his fan base monthly. So I don't know if he's still doing it, but he would have somebody else outside of himself draw a thing, put it in an envelope, and then he would have people try to remote view what was drawn on the paper in the envelope, and then he would do a reveal, sometime later on that month. And sometimes it was a little anticlimactic. Sometimes it yielded some interesting results. Other times it didn't. But here he is. He's posting about Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan just had the most realistic dream ever, where he interacted with strange beings with big heads and large eyes. Contact dream abduction. What do you think? This is fun. Obviously Joe Rogan being one of the big pushers of this sort of, I don't know, alien narrative in a large way. I don't know if he is. Sometimes I refer to him as the new Laurel Canyon. I don't know if it's on purpose or if this is just, happenstance. It just came about from a natural interest in UFOs. Rojogan, yes, thank you, Efrey Jepstein. All right, let's see what he's got to say.
We get started that I had the most bizarre dream I've ever had in my life last night. The most realistic and most bizarre dream. And it's so hard to try to explain how strange this was. But I was in some weird corridor that looked like a building but was odd. Very strange. And I was encountering these beings that looked like people but very different. They were very thin and they were slightly on the tall side. And they had big heads, like larger than normal.
Well, this is already problematic. I mean, Joe Rogan is the same height as me, and everybody is on the tall side to us, Joe. So I don't know if that really carries any weight there. So skinny, look like us. You know what Joe Rogan is a fan of? He's a big fan of the idea, and I'm not faulting him for this. I'm just saying this is something that I've heard him say a lot, that these ETs, these extraterrestrials, alien grays, et cetera, that these are all us from the future, and that basically evolution would at some point determine, given our superior intellectual development, we no longer need reproductive organs. We no longer need facial expressions because we're communicating telepathically. So all of the tells that your face is really there to convey a lot of information that your mouth can't do. And so, we would have very expressionless faces, gigantic noggins because we're telepathically communicating. We're now superior to our former selves, intellectually speaking. We wouldn't be working out and doing this, so our bodies would atrophy, and we would have no sexual reproductive organs because everything is done through a lab of some sort, whatever the fancy word is. I don't think it's in vitro. I don't know what it is. Test tube babies. So he's kicked that ball around a lot on his show. Maybe they're us from the future. And I kind of already feel like that's where he's going. That's where he's going. Emily says, sounds fake and gay. Agreed, Emily. Agreed. Good morning, Conspiracy QT. Good to see you. Grow my babies in a pod, please. Grow my babies in a pod, Daddy. I just heard from the other side of the door. What? Why are you saying that? It's Matt. Matt doesn't like when I say crazy things. Grow my babies in a pod, Daddy.
Larger than normal eyes, but they looked like people, and they were playful, and they were scaring me. They scared me, and then they joked around, like we're just joking around. It was the most realistic dream I've ever had in my life. And I woke up, and I could not go back I had to stay up. I got up at 3:30 in the morning, and I just went to the gym, and I worked out for a couple hours, and I was like, what the fuck was that?
Whoa,
but
Joe Rogan, language. I want to give a quick shout out here to the Armchair Priest. What up, homie? How you doing? Good to see you. It has been a long time. Yeah, Joe does look rough. Yeah, he's not looking great. But he is old, right? He's like mid-50s now. Saw that episode, LOL, he talked more than the guest. Yeah, I mean, you know, by the way, on that topic, not that that's what you're saying, but somebody was in the I guess it was like a new listener of the show was commenting, and they're like, oh, I was hoping that we were going to listen to Jay Dyer talk more when you guys had Jay Dyer on, and that you guys weren't going to talk as much. I'm like, this is, if you haven't figured out what this show is by now, or what Nephilim Death Squad is, I have no sympathy for you. It's, if I'm putting it gently, it's a conversation. We're not going to get lectured by anybody. We're not going to have anybody on and just let them. I mean, occasionally that happens. But if we have ideas, this is what you people don't understand. Some of you people don't understand when you're watching this show that this isn't just for you. I have an opportunity to talk to people that I like. How cool is that? So if I have Jay Dyer on the show, I'm going to talk to him. If I have anybody on the show, I'm going to talk to them. That's the point. It's worked out really well so far. All right, that's it. I guess I'm just bitching and moaning. I didn't realize I was cranky this morning.
It was very bizarre in that there was communication going on. It was like,
good God, are you struggling to say telepathic?
God, I want to read into this because I know it's just a dream, but it was like, get comfortable with this.
You should read into it because it's a dream. So it doesn't make it
Shut up, Brett, you homo.
right, but your subconscious is trying to tell you about something, and the fact that it felt very, very important means your subconscious thinks it.
I like it. You Freudian homosexual you. Is like the fact that I think something happened to you, Joe. Whether it happened in an astral realm or it happened in the physical realm, something happened to you as a real experience. Brett Weinstein wants you to believe that it's just various aspects of your own subconscious manifesting as skinny, long people who are screwing with you. Brett is such a homo.
It's very, very important.
It's very, very important. It's very, very important. It probably has much to do with the sexual repression that you experience in your youth. Very, very important. God. Shut up. What a homo. That's interesting, though. About time Joe Rogan had some sort of strange experience. Right? I mean, how long do you look into the sort of abyss before it looks back at you? That was very much my experience when I first started researching Hat Man and Shadow People and all this stuff as a young lad. I had the wherewithal to be like, this shit's going to happen to me. And I was still on the fence about whether or not it was purely a psychological phenomenon. You're in a state of paralysis. You're also in a semi-hallucinogenic state because you're asleep, but now you're awake, but your body's still asleep. That paralysis causes a lot of fear. And because you're already, experiencing whatever, some dump of dimethyltryptamine or whatever, explanation you can give, and you're having these hallucinations, and now you're afraid because you're paralyzed. So now you're going to start hallucinating scary crap around the room. Like I at least had and I was 17 years old. I'm surprised that it's taken this long You know what I mean? It's like, how long do you have to kind of massage the ball sack of a Bob Lazar before they show up and talk to you? You know? Yeah, it's interesting because, so Armchair Priest says, very true. I had plenty of weird experiences. Wild that this is basically Joe's first. You know, he's got like a lot of these DMT experiences. But I guess the way he files them away in his mind is also purely hallucinogenic and unimportant. Unimportant. Conspiracy QT says, is he part of the corruption that's going on in our colleges? He was a professor, right? He basically said no when Joe suggested they teach kids more life skills and how to manage feelings in school. I mean, he's like this guy that he just repeatedly has on and the internet has bought as some sort of like higher intellectual. And I find him incredibly gay and exhausting. I don't see any value in him. Brett Weinstein. Very gay. Very gay. He disagreed with Joe on everything. If anybody saw this in the chat, if anybody watched this episode, I haven't watched an episode of Rogan in a long time. But if you did, I'd be interested to hear some of your thoughts on that whole thing. All right, so let's go. We're gonna check out some other things that I found fascinating, and boop. So this comes from, and I know I'm not sharing it. We're gonna get to sharing it. Maybe we can go through these the comment section a little bit on it too. So I guess I'll lay the groundwork for this. There's been a lot of speculation about the nature of AI, whether or not it's inhabited by demons, et cetera, et cetera. Let me get a different shot. Boop. No, I don't know if I like that one. Yeah, that one's okay. Okay, so a lot of speculation is AI demons. Can AI be a conduit for demons? Can they interact with it some way, shape, or form? And especially during the early development of artificial intelligence, there was like these kind of like cracks before they had polished it all up and given us Grok or Google Gemini or whatever. We had these stories come out. I remember one of them in particular was about 2 separate artificial intelligences over at Google. Am I crazy, or does David look like a midget Hodge twin? I mean, I'm not tall, not a tall guy. Never been known for my height. Well, I mean, I guess just not in a positive way. What Matt thought that was funny. So yeah, you know, you have these AI, they start interacting with one another, and this is over at Google. And what happens is they start. I mean, I'm going to use kind of idiot language here because I don't know. They start speaking, communicating in a way that was, you know, the creators couldn't translate it, a language that they didn't understand, and this caused such alarm among the Googleans that they pulled the plug on it. They pulled the plug on it. And that's an interesting point. Emily Pareca says, Google, who used to be do no evil. Yeah, that was like they had a motto. And it was do no evil. And then one day they were like, no, I think we got to ditch that. Interesting choice. So, so they pulled the plug on that. And then you have other anomalies. Like I remember once I was watching this video, a father is telling a story about his son, who knows, I think younger than 16, older than 10, somewhere in there. And that's a big time range, but whatever. So the kid is interacting with some early model of AI. This is maybe a year and a half ago to 2 years. And you know, he's having this conversation back and forth with it. And all of a sudden his parents realize like the thing is communicating with him from the POV of a demon. So you get a lot of these. And there was another one, the one last one that I'll mention, and I would appreciate if the chat can help me out with this. Dude, there you go. Top crushing This is huge. This is exactly where I was going. What about the woman's face that AI would generate? Yes. I need the name of that. We can pull up some of those images. So there was one face that AI would continually generate, and I don't know what the prompt was. I don't know why it was generating this lady, but she was pretty horrifying looking. And people will speculate like that's Sophia, that's Lilith, that's Ishtar, that's et cetera, et cetera. The divine feminine that is constantly like trying to sneak in to all these different religions. You know, if it's Catholicism, it'll like try to come in through the door of like the Mother Mary, you know, and things like that. And so, you know, you look into like sort of any of these pagan systems, and if they have a divine feminine, it seems to be the same archetypical spirit masquerading, you know, in different names. It's Sophia, Ishtar, et cetera, et cetera. Loab. Oh, that's interesting. Let's bring that up. Boop, 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 boop. Loab, fictional character. Show me. Let's share this tab instead, and we'll do a little, and then we'll get into this. Good call, guys. Good call. All right. Boop. So Loab, the Loab cryptid, that's interesting. It's an interesting language to use there, is an AI-generated entity summoned by writer-artist Steph Madge Swanson. Of course it is. Why? Why did you summon it, Steph? Madge Swanson. That's interesting. I don't know why. Maybe worth looking into that name. Loab is an emergent character that arises in certain AI image synthesis. All right, cool. Let's look at some images of this bitch. So, yeah. God, wow. Rough on the eyes. Not a looker. I really... the puffy red cheeks, the lumpy puffy red cheeks, and the thin upper lip with the what looks to be like a mustache, like a kind of a prickly. Am I sharing this? Are you guys seeing this? Hold on, I gotta go back. Yeah. Good job, man. Yeah, I don't know. You know, I see Armchair Priest says looks like an abuse victim. It looks like an alcoholic. Looks like a substance abuse victim, right? I mean, that sort of rosacea of the cheeks kind of a deal. It's interesting because it's not super grotesque, but it's disturbing enough that it does something to you inside. All right, so here, let's go on to this then. So you have this precedent for AI creating these strange things. We're going to share this tab instead. We have Megan Basham says, I just asked Grok how it would edit a couple of clunky paragraphs I'd written about Christian colleges for better flow. And it replied with this image, which is odd. That is odd. Why would Grok do this? Why would it do such a thing? So you've got quite a broad looking, I can only describe it as a demon. There's really no other way to describe this thing. Yeah. Why, Grok? Why? It's strange. Yeah, ask for words and get this cursed image. Weird choice. That's what I'm saying. Like, and she'll show you the prompt below. We'll get into it. But it's like, that's a very strange slip up. Yeah, we engage with the demonic AI regularly because it cuts out quite a bit of time when it comes to generating descriptions, SEO language, which is search engine optimization. So it'll generate a title that it thinks will be most attractive to the algorithm. So we say, why wouldn't we use an algorithm to generate algorithmic friendly language for us? So that is to say, we use AI regularly. Every time we do an episode, we are doing a thing. And it's never messed up like a prompt as simple as, giving you an image when you asked for language. And this in particular, this is Grok. I don't know. Thoughts? Guys, it feels like, it looks really scary. Looks super scary. I don't like it at all. It's very scary. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. Yeah, Emily calls it automated grifting. I see no problem there. Yeah, I just like, I'm not a guy. Dude, like, think about how many episodes we do typically per week. And then we got to like type out all that information. No, we're not doing that. That's crazy. Chuck H says, co-pilot draws me as an older, more handsome man. Every time I've ever asked Grok or any AI to generate an image of me, it's almost unanimously made me black. You know what I mean? Very strange. So let's see what she says here. For those asking about the prompt, I kept trying to paste in a couple of paragraphs from a story I was working on. For some reason, Grok kept turning it into a screenshot. So when I finally submitted as a screenshot, this was the response. So she goes, "Can you edit this for better flow?" And it is, she does have a screenshot in there. I can't click on these separate images. That's weird. So she submits a screenshot of her work. And it does this. And she does seem to be, somebody called her a boomer, a little bit of a boomer. Because if you look even over here at the right side, the image of the text, a lot of it is like, it's not good. It's not good. It's like when AI tries to, write something and all the letters are like kind of letters. They're also kind of like Norse runes or something. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's like it's trying. It's so strange that it has. I mean, I guess it really is evolving. It used to have trouble with fingers in a big way. Now it's just like having a real problem getting this text down. It wants to do it in ancient Enochian, but instead it mashes that in English together. Boomer. I just want to go through and see if there's anything else that's interesting within these comments. Man, spooky image. So for those asking about the prompt, when an AI tells you what it is, believe it. No kidding. Right. Oh, there you go. Have you heard about Loab? Yep. There we go. Here's Grok's reply when asked why this happened. Still sketchy. Oh, this is interesting. Let's see what Grok has to say. The image was an erroneous output from an experimental image generation attempt that misfired during the response processing, likely triggered by a contextual misparse of sensitive topics like spiritual compromise. But it shouldn't have surfaced at all. Dun, dun, dun. My intent was purely textual editing for clarity and flow, not visuals. Apologies for the glitch. Here's a refined version of your paragraph. That's funny. I didn't mean to. It was just a whoopsie. Why is it inherently demonic? You probably went to the image tab by accident. Can't wait to read the paragraphs. Oh, is it interesting? What was the paragraph about? I was quoting Alyssa Childer's concerns about Biola's policy on trans-identifying students and its LGBTQ support group, The Dwelling. That's what the LGBTQ support group is called? The Dwelling? The fuck? That's weird. So you submitted a text about concerns regarding a gay group, and it gave you a demon. That kind of makes it that much better. Look, hey Grok, can you kind of streamline this and edit it a little bit for me? It's a paragraph about the LGBTQ community. Grok, That's pretty funny, actually. Yeah, what is that? The Dwelling sounds like a horror movie, right? So strange. So strange. Valkyrie says AI is the inverse of infinite intelligence, which is why the images come back ungodly. Horrifying. They want to dwell inside you. Yes. Yes. I don't like this image on the screen. I think I'm going to get it off. Wait a second. I just looked her up. Honestly, not far from the AI image, to be honest. What was her name? Lisa Loeb? Is that what you said? Any relation to the Harvard educated scientist / cultural commentator Avi Loeb? Lisa Loeb. Ballsack. All right, there we go. Oh my goodness. I forgot how to type. Well, this is supposed to be her. This is supposed to be Loeb or Lueb or I mean, I would I would say, you know, they're pretty different. Is this the right one? Yeah, put the demon away. My bad. I didn't like the way he was looking at me either. Yeah. That's the MTV bitch. I don't know. I don't get it. Lisa Loeb wrote that song. Which song? High School? I'm out of it. I don't understand. I don't understand the references. Guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. I gotta pee really hard. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a pee break, and then I'm gonna come back. We're gonna read some of these submissions of people shaming Mason for her road rage. And then after that, we're gonna open up the lines. We're gonna take some listener calls. I gotta pee so hard, dude. I drank a lot of coffee. All right, we'll be back in a bit. Ooh, we get pee so bad. Here it goes. We're back. Hey, wait a second. I don't know if you guys can hear my phone ringing. Shut the hell up. Stop it. Don't call anymore, Top. For some reason, my ringer is attached. Did you guys hear my phone ringing? I heard it in my headphones, which means you guys probably heard it on the show. I'm not good at it. All right, so what the hell were we doing? We were gonna get into these emails. I guess I should just read them from my phone. Let's do that real quick. So for those of you who don't know what's Raven's favorite legendary bird Pokemon? I'm gonna let you guys guess. You can guess, and I'll tell you just because I wonder if you could tell just by me. You couldn't hear my phone ringing. Okay, cool. Thank you. Awesome. All right. So last time we did a Monday morning episode of The Raven, we had on a special guest, and that was Mason. Mason the silly goose, who appears to be a silly goose, but has these deep-seated rage issues. So what she started to talk to us about was the fact that she oh, there we go. We're getting some right now. So was the fact that she engages in quite a bit of road rage. Yes, sweet summer child Mason, Maeysigh, and she's telling us stories about it. You know, she'll kind of rage bait people, and she's even got as far as getting ran off the road, things like that. Ooh, Genghis Guam said Articuno. Articuno is my favorite. Is it the gayest one? Yeah, probably. But I like the ice. I like the ice. So she's sharing us these stories and everything, and I think they didn't go the way she hoped they were going to go. In fact, all it did was kind of get her scolded and reprimanded. Because, road rage is a huge problem. People die all the time, not only from accidents, but altercations. I mean, we've watched quite a bit of that on Timeline Cleanse. And so we had to explain to her, Mason, it's not a good thing to have road rage. And I said to people, if you want to write in, I get that Zapdos does kind of scream power. I have a cool Zapdos card. It's I think Zapdos was the only one that was part of the original set before they released the birds in the fossil set. So I have a base set Zapdos, holographic base set Zapdos. I love that card. It's a good card. So it wasn't received the way she thought it was going to. And I said, guys, write in, especially dads out there. If you have kids and you hate the idea of them engaging in road rage, let's talk about it. And so we got some. This one actually came in from Rick. I think I know which Rick this is. It's a very short email. I don't know. It says, this little girl needs to chill before someone pulls her card. What a disappointment. I'm just glad Mason, Maesyn, isn't my daughter. Her dad must be a real bitch. I don't think that her dad, I mean, it's my understanding that he's very disappointed because I think Mason said a cop had to bring her home one day. And the cop was like, a lot of road rage in this one. This is a huge problem. Which, of course, is very worrisome to any parent. It's just like the physical violence that could come of it. Here, let's scroll through. Let's see. I know we have a couple of these. Boom, boom, boom. Road rage from Donna Shaw, whose name I just doxed. Should have done that. What's the matter? Is some issues with the Rumble chat? I don't know. Rumble broken? I don't know. Rumble's always broken. Mason. I was mortified when my youngest son refused to have me drive his friends anywhere due to my swearing and angry behavior behind the wheel. He was embarrassed of me. He was right. Try looking at yourself from a third-person perspective. I think she's on the other side of the door listening. We are not the most important person on the road, and they have no obligation to make our day. I put a little Buddha on my dash, and it changed my mindset. What started as setting a good example for my kids has become a habit, and I am a very calm driver now. It's been 18 years. Yes, my car is that old. And my little Buddha continues to remind me to find the calm in the chaos, a very important life skill. D or Donna. Yeah, Emily says, put a little Jesus, not a lazy glutton. But I mean, you know, if putting a little Buddha on your dash at least keeps you from running other people off the road and things. There we go. Eraser Jesus has a purpose. That's what I'm saying. I agree with that. Matt really doesn't like the Eraser Jesus. I like the Eraser Jesus. Rumble's back. All right, there you go, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Rumble's just a mess, dude. Just a mess. But yeah, setting some sort of little reminder constantly, whatever it is. You know, I'm sure if you put a coin on your dash and you knew that the purpose of that coin was to remind you to calm down when you saw it, that it might achieve that goal. But I think that that's a fine practice, is to have something tangible there that's within your field of vision that reminds you constantly. I try not to do the road rage, and I've gotten pretty good at it over the years. Apparently, Mason does want us to know that she's practicing. What is it? Calm driving. She's practicing not being a monster on the road. You know, so there's that. She did want me to say that. But I've gotten quite good at it over the years now, where I can feel that reaction. Somebody the other day, like I said, was riding my ass. I think I told this story and just flipping me off over and over again. I mean, like, must have been a dozen times. And when she finally got out from behind me and pulled up next to me, I looked at her and I just went, like, why? You know, you flip me off once, I get it, but like you flip me off a dozen times, and I begin to suspect like you're looking for violence. Is that reasonable? Isn't that a reasonable thing? It's like, damn, dude, 12 times? Like, what are you trying to do that you can't do because there's a windshield and a motor separating you from me? Because it feels like there's intent behind that. Like, you're giving me the finger so many times, it's like, at what point do you go, that's enough of the finger? Or is this like, this is a substitute for the thing that I want to do to you? So I don't know. But when she pulled up, I just kind of went like, what are you doing? And I rolled the window down too. Because I'm the type of person, this is, you know, probably above and beyond, but like if I do something, like if I cut you off and it's like in a really bad way, I will like roll the window down and be like, I'm fucking sorry, dude. Like, you'll get that from me. The other day, somebody was waiting to cross a crosswalk, and I just didn't see them because they were like kind of hidden by the frame of the car, like where the windshield is separated from the driver's side window. There's a chunk of car there. Couldn't see them. As soon as I realized that they were there, and I was already in the crosswalk, I was mortified. I immediately rolled the window down and was like, I'm fucking sorry. And they were like, no, it's all good. You know, so like I'm the type of guy, like if I see some, like if I'm doing something, I'm going to say that. So I rolled the window down. And I guess I wasn't going to apologize this time, but I was asking her, I said, what's up, man? And she goes, you cut me off. Which I did cut her off. I was in the left lane to turn. It was a turn-only lane. There was a red light for that lane. But the straight, the lanes to the right of me, they had a green light. So when their light turned green, a couple of cars went. This lady was real slow to hit the gas. So all of a sudden an opening is created, and it's like 7 car lengths. So I just slide over and keep going straight because I wasn't supposed to turn there. I was like, oh, that's not my turn. So I got out of the turn-only lane into the gap of 7 cars. She hadn't even taken off yet. She was still stopped from when the light was red. And I just got in. Didn't even have to do it fast. Just went, whoop, and just went. And she was freaking out. And you're like, I don't know. Very strange. Very strange how it's like, that's not even like, nobody was in danger. You didn't even have to hit the brakes. You hadn't hit the gas yet. You cut me off. I cut you off, and then I proceeded to do, I don't know, 5 above the speed limit. Like nobody was impeded. And I'm just looking at the guy. By the way, yes, I always use my blinker. By the way, her husband is in the passenger seat, mortified looking. Mortified. Just the look of defeat upon a man. Just like you could tell is like she does this. This is what she does. And she's doing it again. I used to date a girl who would do that. She would love to roll the window down and fucking go, give the finger and all this shit. And I'm like, hey, bitch, guess who's going to have to fight him? Me, not you. You're not going to have to fight him. You ever see those videos where it's like there's such a road rage that one car gets in front of the other car and slows down to make them stop now? I mean, she would roll down the window and like, fuck you to your face. Little Asian chick. And she's doing this to me. I'm going, what are you doing? I got to fight these people. I think, I'm going to say this here on record. Women have more road rage than men. Women have more road rage than men. I think that's true. I don't think that that's an unfair statement. Oh. Frustrating. All right, let's go through. We'll see if we have any more emails reprimanding Mason. Forensic look at the Twin Towers. I don't know what that was. Boom, 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 boom. It's a lot, so I broke it into sections. What are you doing, Matt?
Relax.
Why are you in here?
Just gotta grab some stuff real quick.
You sure? Yeah. All right.
How's your show going?
It's good. I'm looking for more emails that, oh, here we go.
Talking about Joe Rogan's dream?
Yeah. He got abducted by aliens.
Is that a dream he did?
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
So he probably did in real life?
It doesn't have to be in real life. Sometimes these things take place in real life, but sometimes they're like, you have a spirit man within you.
Is it a dream where like they get their organs harvested or something? Like that happens in real life?
Well, we talked to Karen Wilkinson on an episode recently. She was impregnated, and the doctor, was like, "Yep, you pregnant, girl." And then all of a sudden, she wasn't after another abduction experience, and the doctor was like, "It looks like you were never pregnant at all. That's the strangest thing I've ever seen." Okay, here it comes one from Steven. It says, "Dear the Raven." Thank you. Like the. This is about Mason, spelled MEIGHYASONNE. Mason, you are the whole problem. As a general theme, remember that each time you speak or act.
They're trashing you right now.
Can I read this one? It's very short. I'm already done. I'm going to read it to Mason.
Mason, can you come here real quick? Yeah, it's very short.
It's very important.
No, I got the floor. Let's go.
She's going to come in here and stand there. I'm not going to put the camera on her because she doesn't deserve camera time. She really likes it. Mason. All right, fine. We'll put the camera on you. I want to see your face as does that need to be tapped? It does need to be tapped. Boop. All right. Don't stop. Here we go. This is very short. This comes from Steve. It says, Mason. And by the way, your name is spelled MEIGHYASONNE.
Wow.
Mason, you are the whole problem. As a general theme, remember that each time you speak or act. From Steven.
Thank you, Steven. I'm going to really cherish that. That really resonates with me. That's going to
Here's another one. This one comes from FJ Fool. I don't know what this one says, so, As we started on a new hike, my brother would often repeat something he'd heard during his time in the Marines. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast, meaning that when you're rushed, you'll often make mistakes that cost you more time than if you had simply chosen a steady, relaxed pace. When driving, those mistakes manifest as missed turns, ignore signage, cutting others off, parking like a retard, or worse. Now, he's not calling you a retard. He's just using it as a euphemism. In the same vein, studies have shown that commutes of those driving the speed limit are insignificantly longer than those who speed, meaning there's no benefit. Probably a few minutes if you're speeding. You seem like a speeder.
I definitely am a speeder, but I will say, I already knew the whole like you might as well not.
Why are you making that voice?
You might as well not speed because then you make
I don't think that's
mistakes.
what. No.
Yeah, like I figured that out a long time ago.
Oh,
Not my
wow.
first day here on Earth.
Okay, you're not taking this criticism gracefully. So this is because commute times are determined less by speeding and more by traffic density and stoplights. This is especially true in urban areas. I don't think he talks like how you talked. The only significant difference between those who speed and those who don't is the level of stress and anxiety felt by those who speed. So you're actually increasing the amount of anxiety you feel. Do you feel anxiety, Mason? Are you an anxious individual? I can see it. Oh, yeah, you are.
I mean, yeah, I have anxiety just like everyone else.
No,
but, like,
I don't have anxiety.
Okay, well,
What does everyone else?
okay,
everybody else? You think everybody just has anxiety?
I have anxiety like most people except for you because I guess you're a freak. That's weird.
No,
you don't get
no.
it. You. There's not one scenario, experience, nothing that makes you anxious. You have
In my
zero
household, we
anxiety.
actually have a saying, and it's very short and simple. It goes, Corbos never panic. Panicking is anxiety.
Well, actually, in my
We've been
house,
psychologically operated into believing that the whole world has anxiety.
Actually, my mom says don't worry until you have something to worry about. So we kind of are like a similar.
You never worry. You never worry because I forgot who it was. I forgot the saying, but it's like, if you worry, you suffer a thing twice. So
Yeah.
if you have something on the horizon that's big and looming, well, worrying leading up to it, you're suffering there. And then when the thing happens, then you're suffering again. Don't read the chat, Mason. All right.
Funny. It's funny.
Let's continue on here. So you're undoubtedly causing your own stress and anxiety. So ask yourself, why do I rage? If the answer is because I want to go faster, you need to understand that's not working. And if the answer is because I keep bumping my head on things, then blame your dad for making you so tall. Thank you, FJ. That was wonderful. How do you feel about that, Mason?
I'm kind of confused. I don't get it. Like it's kind
What don't you get?
I felt like that didn't have to do with road rage. I don't know.
I felt like that had a lot to do with road rage.
I mean, like I don't know. I'm not. Well, I should rephrase. I kind of zoned out there at the end.
Unbelievable. Okay, here's another one. Okay, that's long. This comes from Nola. Hey, Raven and Mason. My name is Nola. I've been listening for over a year, but I'm too dangerously retarded and paranoid to create a Rumble, Patreon, YouTube, social media accounts, etc. But I love you people. Huh. Thank you, Nola. Can you say thank you to Nola?
Thank you, Nola.
I'm 32 now, but back in my younger days, I too drove like a maniac. I racked up 11 points on my record. Do you have points?
I think I literally have like 2.
I have no points.
And it's from one speeding ticket, and all I have is one speeding ticket.
I have no
So
points.
suck on that, all of you viewers.
Don't tell anybody to suck on anything. These are wonderful people who care about your safety. Jeez.
No, I would like to say to the viewers,
No.
and no, this is going to be nice and positive. No,
Okay,
it's going
no,
to be
go
nice
ahead,
and
go ahead.
positive.
Yeah.
In the span of like between this right now, this very moment, and then the last time I was on this show, if you guys would all just take a chill pill and relax, half of that I was like joking, okay?
Look, there she goes. Oh my God.
Second off, it's not that deep, okay? It's not that deep. You guys are like freaking out over nothing. Like I hope you guys don't realize.
Didn't you get ran off the road?
Yeah, but that wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. I can literally
You
explain
guys know
to you
that
what
meme
happened.
where it's like women and then accountability, and it's like they're being crushed by it. Like they can't. Oh, how do I? All right, so
you're fueling them.
No, these people know. Yeah, it's just you're doing a lot of deflecting, and you're not taking responsibility for you know. So
Well, I know that I'm a bad driver, and I know that I am reckless and that I've put people in danger. I am 100% fully aware of what I'm doing.
but you just told everybody that they're
It's not that-
overreacting.
yeah. I mean, it's not. Well, I mean, last week I had people telling me they were gonna come find me and.
Who said
Me.
that?
People in the comments.
No,
So
you
I'm
can't.
telling-
You can't
so
look
I'm
at these
telling-
people.
So I'm telling them, guys, hey, it's not that deep. I think you guys might have an anger problem, if anything. You guys are the ones getting more upset over this than me.
All right,
That name's familiar.
Nicorous.
That name's familiar.
I don't think it is, Mason. All right.
No, but
I racked up 11 points on my record, had my license suspended, and I would genuinely enjoy flipping out on people on the road, especially faggot college kids when I drove through campus I worked at. When I was 21 in late December 2014, I was leaving work on a chicken farm. Don't look at the chat. I was pulling out onto a small highway on the farm. Look left, nobody. Look right. If I go, I got it. So I went. So she did see somebody pulling, to the right, but she said, if I go right now, I got it. Here, I pulled right out in front of a woman I didn't see. She hit me. Are you paying attention?
In that last 2 seconds.
You're just picking your fingernails.
In that last 2 seconds, I wasn't, but I was.
She hit a woman. She got hit by a woman in a car.
Because she
was going, she was too impatient. She hit me. I ran into her and began praying with her while others called. Wait a second. I pulled right out in front of a woman. Okay. Jeez, I guess she was an older woman. Her airbag was deployed and she had one bloody nostril. Is that what you want, Mason?
Actually, oh my gosh, wait. I have a story. Last Friday, when I was coming home.
You killed an old lady.
No, but it had to do with an old lady. You guys are telling me that I need to relax and I'm getting crazy.
Well, the old people are pretty bad.
Yeah, no, they are. So I was driving home and I was going straight. I'm driving straight and there's cars in this, it was a four-way intersection. There was cars.
Yeah.
There was in the right lane, waiting for us to have a clear moment so they could turn. Well, tell me why. I'm coming up through the intersection, and an old lady, I'm this is me, and an old lady just goes, hing, and just about hit me, and I had to veer off. So
how old are we saying?
Literally looked decrepit and senile. Literally, she was sitting there driving like this. She was going like this driving, and she was bumping on a sidewalk, and she's going like this driving because she knew she was in the wrong.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'll give you that. This area that we're in is
pretty rough. You guys don't understand. Okay?
Insurance is actually particularly higher around here because of the rate of accidents. And that's almost entirely due to the fact that it's everybody's 90. So yeah, it is problematic. And maybe what you should learn is what's called defensive driving.
Oh, I have
Well, I feel like you're doing a lot of aggressive driving.
No, I have defensive driving.
Oh my God! Whoa, this story gets horrifying. Okay, so
wait, I'm curious. I'm intrigued.
Oh my God, dude! All right. So the airbag was deployed. She had one bloody nostril. Other than that, nothing crushing in on her. But it turned out she had brain bleed and needed emergency brain surgery.
Wow.
Yeah. Here, this is the last sentence that we'll give her. Listen to this. Wait, no, Matt, I want you to listen to this. She ended up on life support for 5 months before dying. All right, get back to work, Mason. I'm going to read the rest of this.
I know you guys love me, okay?
No,
don't miss me too much.
You literally just killed an old lady.
I did not.
I mean, spiritually. They have jobs. I know. Dude, that's crazy, though. Ended up on life support for 5 months before dying. At this point in my life, I was on Suboxone and hadn't used heroin for almost 2 years. Jeez, man, this is really... This is a result of Mason's driving, yeah. After the accident, the devil started chirping on my shoulder that I don't deserve to live because I took this old woman's life. I let the guilt consume me and started drinking alcoholically. Not just drinking, but drinking alcoholically. And I see, this is the kind of thing that I Mason just called and threatened to run Scott over. It's not good. It's not good, guys. By the way, I see Chris Champagne says Suboxone is worse. Apparently, everybody's discovering now that Kratom is horrifying for you, which is interesting because I took Kratom once and I was like, I hate the way this feels. And now everybody's like, oh, turns out it's really not good. Kratom. So I let the guilt consume me. I began drinking alcoholically before finally finding my way back to heroin. I finally got off the heroin in 2018 after EMDR therapy. I don't know what that means. My cousin was a cop and he overdosed on Kratom? That's wild. I didn't know anybody could overdose on Kratom. I know that it attaches to like the opioid receptors, and so in that way it's not exactly an opioid, but it behaves the same way, which explains a lot of why I didn't like it, because I never liked, whatever opioids are in any form. I mean, that's not like I've ever done heroin or Suboxone, but I have tried to take pain pills on like 2 occasions. One was after my, testicular removal where they took my ball for the whole cancer thing, and they gave me pain pills, and I tried to take them, and I just hated the way that they felt, so I didn't take them again. And then like years before that, so that was in my early 30s, and then like in my early 20s, I went to do some dental stuff, and after the dental stuff, they gave me, some sort of pain pills, Oxy something or another, and hated the way it felt and flushed them all down the toilet. So it would make sense that the time that I tried Kratom, where my buddy was like, oh, this is great, you're going to love it, it's going to make you, I felt horrifying. So I whatever it is, it just doesn't vibe with me. The Lord works in mysterious ways, because if it weren't for that accident, I would not have connected with the man who eventually became my husband and father of our now 3-week-old son. Congratulations, Jasher. Oh, banger name. But I'm writing to tell you, I wouldn't wish that soul-crushing guilt on anyone. When you get behind the wheel of a car, you're taking your life and the lives of those around you into your hands. Mason, spelled appropriately. But apparently not the way she spells it. She tosses a Y in there, all willy-nilly. She says, Mason, you are a beautiful, charismatic young woman with a bright light. I would hate to see you hurt or for you to have to live with hurting someone else. I'm hard-headed as all get out. You from the South? I'm hard-headed as all get out and had to learn the hard way to drive like a grandma and to always be alert of my surroundings while driving. I pray that you don't ever have to learn the hard way, but if you do, please keep faith that the Lord can use it for good in your life. I love you all. Keep crushing. Thank you, Nola. Chat, what do we think about that? I mean, look, I don't know if she's being genuine when she says it's not that big of a deal and that she was embellishing, because I just get the sense that Mason is full of rage. She's a silly goose. Pleasure to be around, but I get the feeling that she's telling the truth when she talks about her road rage issues. Who knows? Maybe this is a saying it publicly on a show and then getting emails about it. Could well be, because if I'm being perfectly honest, if there ever was a time where I displayed road rage, I certainly didn't receive public criticism for it. I did it in my own vacuum where, only me and the people that were in the car knew about it. So maybe a little public shaming helps. I think you should write her. How old is she? She's just a kiddo. I don't know. Maybe 19, 20, something like that. Far too young to be doing all that silly shit. All right, guys, we're going to open the lines very soon here. But before we do that, let's check and see if we have any donations. D Corbo 7 on all platforms. That's Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. If you want to support me directly, that's how you can do it. But you don't have to. It's fine. There we go. Thank you to Valkyrie for the $5 donation on Cash App for honoring your divine self-expression. I don't know what that means. I wouldn't call this very divine, but thank you. Thank you for that. Let's go and check out PayPal. And we do a little refresh here. Boobity-doo. All right, nothing on PayPal, right? Come on, load. The internet here is a little bit slow. And Venmo. Rumble rants missed. Dude, Rumble is so weird. Like, I go and try to check on Rumble, and it just doesn't hold on to any of the old Rumble rants. Oh, no, there we go. Thank you, Chuck, for the $20 donation. He says, Eraser Jesus is not good. Maybe. Matt doesn't like Eraser Jesus. But if you keep a little Eraser Jesus on your dash and it stops you from road raging, is Eraser Jesus good? Thank you very much, Chuck, for the $20 donation. Let's get into some of these voicemail memo mails that came in. Oh, we got more than a few of them. Very nice. Let's get to playing those. David, do math. 25. $25. You know what's crazy? Is in the back, like right on the other side of this wall, there's like a bunch of women, like older than 50, doing like a Bible study or something. It's maybe like 15 of them. And I know I've shouted some inappropriate things over this past hour and 10 minutes. I don't think they're a fan of what I'm doing here. All right, we're going to listen to voice memos. Let's do that. So, okay, this is on the stage, so this should work. The older women crowd loves... Oh, that's funny. Emily, your in-laws are in the Villages. Isn't it? It's like where they all go, huh? Yeah, tell them to come by. Say hi. Old ladies balls deep in the good book. That's how it be. That's how it be. All right, here we go. We're going to play this one. This is a long one. It's a long one.
Hey, the Raven. It's Matt from Oklahoma here.
Hey, it's Matt from Oklahoma again, right? We've heard from Matt from Oklahoma. Yes, we have heard from Matt from Oklahoma. Guys, can you hear that? I just want to check in with you real quick. You guys hear that? Because you remind them of Tom Selleck. I've gotten that before, which is, I consider it a compliment, but I just don't understand it. I don't see it. That and Burt Reynolds, a young Burt Reynolds, I've gotten that too. Which, you know, once again, cool compliment. Don't see it at all. Burt Reynolds, a stud. I don't think they're talking about my height, but hear what? Chuck, I see what you're doing. All right, let's let this play.
Danger Music. Missed your last stream. I was doing some family stuff. You know how it goes. It's about almost 6 in the morning over here. I'm just sitting here reading the Word, and just kind of wanted to touch on a couple things. I'm in Samuel right now, doing the cover-to-cover thing. I just got through Ruth. I'm in Samuel right now. Oops. And I just wanted to point out this book of Samuel, is kind of one of those things where we're constantly asking for leaders, begging for leaders. And it just really speaks to where we are right now, where everybody's just begging for a leader. And I told you last time, I come from the libertarian. I'm a young anarchist.
Previously gay. But, everything is forgiven, right? Libertarian Party is a rough one. That's an interesting comparison, though, right? Everybody's begging for a leader, and you have that going on right now in a big way. the rise of the demand for a strong man. We've given way to that in recent years. And I guess it's like when times get tough, everybody's looking for that one pillar of sort of masculinity, not just masculinity though, it's like law and order to arise.
Like little punk rocker as a kid, like and I think this might be the most anarchistic book in the Bible, if I'm correct. Actually, my friend Samuel just pointed that out to me. And I just think it's really important to pay attention to Israel in the Bible and what that says about human nature and our nature to constantly turn on God and turn away from God, half-ass our faith and then at the end of the day beg for a king, and it's just wild. It just really speaks to where we are today, maybe where we've always been, but just the flaw of man to constantly turn on God and just want to follow other men through.
I wonder if anywhere in the Bible there's ever been this precedent for like a council of men. You know what I mean? Like, so throughout the Bible, God positions kings and uses all these various kings, good and bad. And, but that's like the system over and over again. It's kings. Is there anywhere where there's ever like a council where like, you know, I mean, I'm sure the king has a council, but where it's just not that. Cause I remember one time like Joe Rogan saying like, we should do away with presidents, man. And we should just have like a council of like wise guys. Well, I don't think they say wise guys, but you know what I mean? Like, you know, intelligent people, and not have like a figurehead. But I think the diffusion of responsibility becomes a real problem there. It's like, who do you hang when things go wrong? The apostles. Right, yeah, that's a good example. Just a thought. All right, let's keep it going. Because it kind of makes me wonder, like, you know, we would look to kings as just bad in general. Even though you kind of switch up the language, and I know it's not the same thing, but like, you know, like a president is still a figurehead, and his administration, he and his administration take all the heat for what goes wrong during the administration. And so in that way, like it is similar, but of course, you know, they're rotated out every 4 to 8 years. So in that way, you don't have this monarchy. But the way we all kind of recoil at the concept of a king is interesting, given that that's pretty much the system throughout all of the Old Testament.
This world, instead of focusing on Christ who came on this earth to save us. And so here we are. Anyways, that's about it. I don't know how long I got on this call. I don't want to take up too much more time. But hey, God bless man, and I just wanted to kind of point that out. That's where I am. And you take care of yourself, you take care of your family, and God bless all the dangerous retards out there.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you for the voicemail. Yeah, I don't know. That just got me thinking, though, about that whole position of a king and how we kind of really reject that. But then, like, God is, throughout the Old Testament, always using these kings, good or bad. So I don't know. It's just interesting. It's like, is this just how human beings operate? Like, is this a system that's best adapted to our experience here on Earth? And you're not going to get a better one, short of, you know, the millennial reign of Jesus Christ. You're just not going to get a better one. That's interesting, though, that you're in Sam. I've been reading, but I am retarded, so it takes me a long time to read. And I've been reading Job far longer than probably I should be reading Job. I think there's only like 43 chapters in the whole thing, and I might be like on chapter 38, so I'm almost wrapped. But like, man, I read slow. I read super slow. And I don't absorb a lot, if I'm being perfectly honest. Like, I ended up screwing up my bookmark, and I reread, like, I don't know, at least 2 to 3 chapters, and didn't realize, like, I already read these chapters until, like, midway through the 3rd one. And I was like, oh, my God, dude, I just realized, like, this all sounds familiar. I've read this already. I don't know what the hell's the matter with me. It's very frustrating. I wouldn't want you getting dizzy. No, I've been doing better now. Like, that doesn't happen anymore. And I know, everybody's like, oh, it's very gay, because I think I'm reading the New Living Translation. What's up? What's that?
Scott's. I'm on the phone.
Scott?
Yeah, he's from
You're on the
Virginia.
phone with Scott?
Yeah, he's from Virginia.
Hey, Scott!
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm shouting into the mic.
What do you?
Yeah, he does work on cars.
Yeah, he's my guy. Bro.
He's awesome. Scott's awesome.
Buying you drinks, tipping heavy.
I love him.
Nice guy.
He's a great dude.
What?
Get out of here, Mason.
She's really got her feelings hurt. Did people say mean stuff to her?
It's not that they said mean stuff. They said important things that she needs to hear.
She does need to hear that.
She does need to hear that. Look at this.
Scott, so did you?
He's on the phone with Scott.
You were talking to Mason for a little bit.
No, he wasn't talking to Mason.
Wait, is this live?
Yeah, it's live.
Yo, these are nice, dude.
They are nice. You like those?
I haven't done one with this.
Yeah, it's better. I thought the stands were
get
going to
a
be
chair.
good, but these are dope.
Scott, is it okay if I jam real quick? Because I really need to talk to the Raven about something.
Dude,
Okay,
I love
thanks
Scott.
again, bro. You're a good dude. Raven really appreciates it.
Ooh, what is that? That's so good.
Thanks, bro.
What did he get? What is this? It's delicious.
Thanks, bro. We'll catch up soon. See you, man.
Guys, by the way, we are live at the
Stop.
Standard Coffee Shop /
Just
NDS
go
Studios.
back to work. I'm literally paying you.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so
Okay,
back
go
to this
ahead.
Joe Rogan dream. Sorry, but
No,
this has got me
please, go
intrigued
ahead.
because I know somebody who in a dream got their organs harvested. It was in a dream.
Okay.
So what is your take on that? Like, what happened if a thing happened in a dream? If it's just a dream, was it like, oh man, that was weird, or do they potentially do stuff in a dream that is like a real thing?
So I think it depends. What did he get his organs harvested by in the dream? Do you remember? Is it just
totally
like people
know. I didn't
or
get the
like
details.
creatures?
He was just like, dude, I
This
got
is
my
so good. What is this?
Pistachio.
Oh, this is the pistachio?
Top
This is the
loves that.
pistachio
Top loves that.
white chocolate?
Yes.
Wow, this is good.
No, he didn't really give me details. He just said he got like his organs harvested by aliens in a dream.
So, well, the aliens thing is a little bit interesting. I think anytime aliens show themselves in a dream realm, there could be something more going on there. But I do think that, generally speaking, a lot of dreams can just be like noise and nonsense. Other ones are like visions and information. You have to discern where those visions are coming from, because I think you could get kind of, what seem to be meaningful dreams, but not from a good source.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But whenever aliens pop up, I do tend to think that something is happening there. We know a guy in particular who has had these abduction experiences that are kind of like dreams. And in those dreams, he's been on like operating tables and such. So when you say they're harvesting organs,
He didn't give me details, but that was the vibe that I got. Was like, yeah, that he was like potentially like on a table. Like you hear the stories, like he's on a table and they're like harvesting organs. I don't know. I need to get more details, because maybe it was just that was the vibe for him. Was that like, oh yeah, I was in a dream, and I don't know how detailed it was or like how much was going on.
yeah, well, that's the thing. So
Bro, how about
Valkyrie.
the Raven sign, dude?
Oh yeah, isn't that cool?
Wait, how long has that been out? Is it everybody already knows about it?
I gotta like turn there's a little switch on it. Let's do this. We're gonna produce in real time, and by that I mean we're gonna turn it down a little bit. I'm gonna see if it gets more discernible. That's a little bit. I think that might be
Weird,
better.
because in real life it's like a real good strong blue.
Yeah,
And on there,
it's just a
popping
light.
white.
It is what it is. So, yeah, I mean, if they're actually taking his organs, it's interesting. Valkyrie asked a question: why would they need to take organs? And if you look at the cattle mutilation phenomenon, it turns out that like bovine blood is, I forget, like somehow compatible with human blood. And then also their embryonic sacs and all kinds of other stuff, like the internal organs of cows, seem to be things that they're using. This comes from L.A. Marzulli in a big way. Seem to be things that they're using to try to bridge the gap through this hybridization program. I kind of talked about that with Karen Wilkinson on the last episode. There's this effort So long story short, they are interested in our organs, specifically our reproductive organs, and they're trying to basically crossbreed with us. And this is like if you subscribe to this idea of, our inheritance as humanity and what they lost, meaning the fallen,
Right.
that they think that they can bridge the gap and gain access to it again by merging with us. That's why, supposedly they took human wives. Like if you take wives and go through the marriage ceremony and go through all of God's like legal
You're saying, look,
processes.
we're married in. We're descendants of Adam now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
because everything revolves around Adam. That's a good point, dude. It's just that, like,
but I don't know what happened to your homie. I mean, I'd be interested because to me,
I got to get more of the details.
yeah. But Joe Rogan, he's having this whole dream about these tall, skinny, they kind of look like humans, and they're communicating with them. They're telling him, I think they said that this is important, like what's happening, and for him to get used to it.
That's what they were telling him?
Yeah, and they're also like scaring him, but then they're pulling back and laughing with him. So they're terrorizing him in some weird, playful kind of a way.
He's like got the comedy thing going where he just makes a laugh out of it.
No, he didn't seem to.
How about the guy? I don't really like his name, but he's saying, "Can you create a drink called the Loop and add it to the menu?" Just ask him.
No, we can't. No, probably don't have a loop. No,
but I mean, can we ask him what flavor that would be?
no, we can't sell people a drink called the Loop.
What's the Loop?
That's maniacal.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
diabolical
sorry,
to do
bro.
to
Sorry.
people. We
I'm
can't
out
do
of the
that.
game, man.
What about? Can we just have a drink called the Raven? And what would that? That would just be like a
maybe
like a black coffee.
Maybe it would have to be. Like,
we could make a coffee with lobster bisque in it and call it the TopLobsta.
Maybe your drink would have to be a little bitter.
This is delicious.
Yeah,
this
the
pistino.
All right, I'm gonna get back to work.
All right,
I do want to talk to you more about that.
Can
though,
you
like,
make sure Mason's
get
actually
the
working
details.
though?
She's not, which is fine. But as long as she's not back here like playing games, then we're good.
That's all she does.
All right, see you, everybody.
All right, bye, Matt. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, so we were in the middle of voice memos. Let's get back to it. Mine is black coffee with cinnamon. Oh, it's not bad. He just glazed over the butter comment. What butter comment? Let me go back in and see what you said. Boom, 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 boom. It just says the Raven. I don't know what that means. Or did I say butter? I don't remember. Okay, we're going to play some more voice memos. Boop. And let's go here. And let's let it rip. It's not a long one. It's only a minute.
Hey, Raven. My name's John. I've
What's up, John?
been a somewhat long-time listener. Don't really interact much with the show. So I usually just listen to the show while I'm out doing my pest control work.
All right, very nice. I got a real soft spot for people that listen while they work, which is virtually everybody, but it's like that's how that's pretty much how I got into podcasting, right? Is like listening to podcasts, thinking that it would be a lot of fun to do, and I'm listening to them while I'm working. So if I'm driving or if I'm welding or something like that. So it's always cool to be reminded, like, yeah, people are listening to this while they're working. I'm helping you guys get through your day. When your day sucks and it's boring and it's gay, I get to massage that a little bit. That's cool. I like that. The Nance, whoop my baby mama ho-ass says, the Nance, caution, this drink contains murder content. If we had a drink called the Nance, it would be a cup of warm blood. Okay, let's continue this.
On Spotify. Love the show. Love all the work you guys are doing. Really appreciate how you guys have kind of helped me in my walk with Christ, and really want to say that Matt has been a really good addition to the show. I love the Bible study, the Straight Bible show that he does, and you guys are really doing great work. Keep it up. But yeah, thanks a lot for all you guys do.
Well, thank you, John. Thank you for calling in, leaving a voice memo. I appreciate the kind words about Matt's addition, because you guys have been, if you've been listening for a long time, like, it happened really quick. Like, we met Matt, got good guy vibes from him, made some content with him. The banter was good, and the conversation was good. And then one thing led to another. I mean, it really felt like God was just pushing us in this direction. And we've got like a couple of people who have said some negative things, but that's not really a reflection on Matt as much as it's like there are like a dedicated 1% of people that just want to say negative things about this show whenever they get an opportunity. And so they're always going to do that. But we also get negative comments about like the direction the show has gone in, as far as closer to Christ, because we used to be a lot rougher around the edges, and they don't like that. I had a guy tell me I wasn't funny anymore, which was, I was like, damn, dog, thought I was still funny. But he's like, no, you were funnier when you were talking about the blacks. I'm like, man. Yeah, cue the danger music, says they just missed the racism. It's like, yeah, dude. So there's always going to be some small percentage of people. However, overwhelmingly, the feedback about Matt and his contributions to what we're doing here have been very positive. And it almost doesn't matter what people say, because I see the value in it. I see it as positive. Can we give Matt a show kind of like David has The Raven and Danny has TopLobsta? Well, so Danny's he's not supposed to be doing, but like I always would like to see him do a solo show. And Matt does want to do some sort of a solo show. So there's Straight Bible, which I think he's kind of like rolled Top into that to kind of help produce. But that was supposed to be a solo thing initially. So I don't know. I don't know if he's going to do like a straight solo show. I mean, I think the dream is to be able to do this to the extent that Nephilim Death Squad is pumping out like multiple shows a day, or at least on this network, if that's what you want to call it, multiple shows a day from me, from Matt, from Top. But we just have to be able to make it make sense. We got to get there, cross that line, and then, if we can free up the time to do that, then yeah, I would absolutely love to do that. Stacks Farmstead says Matt is crushing. Matt with 3 T's. Thank you, guys. And it's an important distinction. He always kind of gets frustrated, and it's not something I wanted to bring up, but when people misspell his name, when they spell it with just 2 T's, because I think it's part of what makes him unique, and I think he does too. And it's just like, as much as he likes you guys, and as much as he likes, it's like the number one thing he says is like, could you spell my name right? Let's call Matt 501T3. I like that. Have in-person interviews. Well, we are doing in-person interviews in this studio. We've done a number of them already, but that's very much just a can we get somebody in studio kind of a deal. So, man, that's good. Thank you, Scott. Thank you for the pistachio and white chocolate coffee. That's crazy good. Okay, let's play another voice memo. Boop, 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 boo.
Hey, Raven, it's John again.
Hey, it's John again.
In my original, my first voice memo, I completely forgot about the question I was going to ask you. But
I do that all the time. I have things that I want to say when I start the show, and then I forget them.
I was just wanting to kind of, because I have 2 young boys, 1 and 2.
Oh, congratulations. I can say congratulations, because a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old, you're still in that new dad vibe. So congratulations, brother.
So I was just kind of wanting to like ask how, because I know you have your 10-year-old son. I kind of wanted to ask you how you kind of went about, introducing him to the truth of Jesus Christ, and what kind of steps did you take, and how, I guess just in general, like how you went about it, kind of when you started introducing that concept to him. Because for me, sometimes every couple or so nights, we lay them down to go to sleep, and I'll bring my Bible in there, and just kind of flip to a random section and just kind of start reading to them. That was really all question I had for you. Like I said in my original voice memo, love the work you guys are doing. Keep up the good work. Lots of love from John. Bye.
That's a great question. That's a great question. So basically what John is saying is how did I go about introducing Jesus Christ to my kid? And I would say that certain people I approach differently, which is reasonable to say, right? So if I'm gonna give information to my wife or my son, it's going to come. The delivery method is going to be different than if I'm giving it to, a guest on the show, an audience member, somebody I meet in person, and I find that a delicate approach is best, or at least that's how I go about doing it. It's not something that I put a lot of thought into, but I'm much more in the business of planting seeds. I don't think that you change somebody's mind in one conversation alone. And I also worry that too much of an abrupt shift or serving something up too cold can cause a sort of a resentment or a pulling away. For example, how many people have this story of having religion, which is different than Jesus, having religion forced down their throat when they were younger, and then they turn away from it when they're older. So I understand a little bit about human psychology and just our tendency to do that, our rebellious nature, pulling away from, what we were raised in. And it's kind of natural to do that. And a lot of people come back around anyway, but some people don't. Some people pull away from the way that they were raised, and then they do a 180. They go in the opposite direction of that. So when I introduce these concepts to my son, he gets a bigger picture at let's say church, but in our conversations, he gets little seeds, little ideas, little questions, concepts. And if he asks questions, then I'll sit down and answer them. But I just kind of pepper him with things. So I think, to be perfectly honest, the way my son learns is just by watching me. I am who I am on the show as I am in real life. So when I turn the cameras off and I go home, I'm talking about the same things I'm interested in the same things. Like the conversation never stops for me. And he'll ask me things like, "Oh, Dad, what did you talk about on the show?" This and that, and I'll tell him. And then I'll have to try to unpack some of these ideas for him. So I guess the it's a long version. There's no short version of it, but the same way you see me learn on this show or on Nephilim Death Squad is the same way my son learns, because he gets a version of it through the conversations that I have with him after the show. He has all kinds of questions all the time. But it's never a structured thing. So if you go to school and you're going to learn, mathematics, you got to lock in for this amount of time, and you got to do this thing, which, by the way, breeds quite a bit of resentment. Kids just want to get away from it. If I were to lock him in the same way and try to teach him about God, he could easily come away resenting it. So it's a natural exploration. There's no structure for it. Questions and ideas and topics come at all times of the day. I talk to him like I talk to other adults. So the same way that I'm talking right now is the same way that I talk to him. I always have. He's pretty well spoken because of that. And yeah, it's not a matter of teaching as much as it's a matter of I'm not trying to set an example. We as parents will set an example just by the lives that we live. And he sees that. So I don't make it a concerted effort to teach him. I think he just watches and then he asks questions and then I do my best to answer them. I feel like that was a really shitty, sloppy answer. But I thought it was a fascinating question. I guess I've never really thought about that, how I'm teaching my son. Because I'm just not going to do that. I'm not going to make him lock in. You know what I mean? Because it's like with school, I think you do have to, there is an argument for making them lock in for a certain slot of time. It does develop discipline, but it also kind of suggests this kind of learning only happens within this time frame to that time frame. But this inquisitive nature about the reality we exist in, about God, our creator, about who Jesus Christ is like an all the time thing. Not from the hours of 8 to 11 a.m. or something like that. We're going to lock in. We're going to do this thing. No, it's an all the time thing. It is life. Life is happening constantly. It's happening all around you. The supernatural is constantly happening. God is constantly present. And so this shouldn't be like a locked in. Not that I've ever given it that much thought and designed it that way, but this isn't what you see isn't just a job. It's what I would be doing even if the cameras were off. So he just sees that, and that's how he learns. Hey, it's Steven. What's up, brother? You could be in the coffee shop / NDS studios, and you could just chat it up with me. If you ever saw that I was live and you were in the area, I would be upset if you didn't just walk in and open this studio door and come and sit in this chair across from me. Who now? No Nut November. What are we talking about? All right. Yeah, I'm just checking with the chat because I'm like, that was a lot of word salad. That's a lot of word salad that I just said. Being honest with your kids is important. My kids lost their father 2 years ago during a drug overdose. Fucking sorry to hear that, dude. Never lied to them about it. They are 9 and 10. Yeah. Yep. You never realize what, if you lie to your kid, what sort of seed that plants, how that can come back and bite you in the ass years later. No doubt I'll be there soon in time, brother. All right, man. I'm waiting on you. I'm waiting on you. You got to read the Bible cover to cover every night right before bed. I would never get to sleep. takes so long for me to read. I really do envy people that have like that ability to just like plow through. That would be a cool thing to be able to do. That would be a cool thing to be able to do. All right, let's get through a couple of these voice memos. Jeez, it's almost 2 hours. I don't know how long we're going to be able to open the lines for today. Honestly, we might not be able to do it. We might just get through voice memos because I don't know how to pace a show. Here we go.
Hey, it's Emily. Play my Father Chad Ripperger clips. Fagoot? Okay, bye.
Chad Replica? Is that what you said? Father Chad Replica? Did you send those to me? Here we go. Here's another one.
Oh, hey, it's Emily. And instead of running my thumbs, I thought I'd share the woman rage. The women have more rage, road rage, than men. Women in general have more rage than men, and it comes out either as us beating sticks and screaming and yelling in the woods for $5,000 a head.
That is already very true.
Or it comes out in road rage. Now, let me explain this. There is no direct recipient of that rage, so then we can dip, dodge, duck, and dive the accountability of acting like a rageful cunt. So the road rage presents one way. The screaming and yelling and beating things is another way. And then there's a third group that internalizes all of it and gets plastic surgery and starves themselves and wears high heels all the time. So, little woman brain insight. Okay, love you, bye.
Well, that's an interesting thing to say there at the end. The plastic surgery is not good, but the internalizing may be good. I mean, I find that as a man, people say we internalize our emotions until they kill us. But I don't think that that's so true. I find that these days more what I do is I internalize a feeling, if it's sadness or if it's anger or whatever, or resentment, but I don't just push it down and don't think about it anymore. I think through it. And I'll come to some sort of rational conclusion. Because there usually is a pretty rational thing to say about all the rage you're feeling in the moment or all the sadness you're feeling in the moment. And there is some wisdom that comes by way of rationale. For example, the idea of suffering a thing twice because I am anticipatory. I am there. Well, I mean, you could anticipate a fun thing, let's say, but if there is something negative looming on the horizon and now you're worrying about that thing coming, you can, in fact, push that feeling down. And then you can rationalize it by telling yourself there is simply no benefit. It is a net negative to worry about a thing before it happens. And in fact, all you're doing is making your own life worse because now you have to suffer this thing twice. You know, like, I'm very good at that. All the what ifs. What if this? What if that? I immediately go, there's no sense in it. Life has shown me that actually, more than likely, none of the things you're worrying about will come to pass. And the worst that's going to happen in most cases is you're just going to suffer needlessly, and then the thing won't happen anyway. So, I don't think that when men, I don't know about all men, but like myself personally, if I shove a thing down, whether it's sadness, and then what I do is I just don't let it manifest in front of people. And I internalize it and I go through it and I go, is it worth being sad about? What benefit is there to be sad? Is this even something that is, you know, like I'll do that and then it goes away. I was just saying that because she said the third type is the woman that pushes it all down and then it manifests as like really psychotic behavior, like plastic surgery and shit, which is truly psychotic behavior. Putting filler in your face is fucking bananas. But yeah, that just got me on that train of thought. It's like this idea that maybe there is a type of man that pushes it down and lacks the mental process by which to deal with these emotions. But and maybe that leads to an early grave. I have a feeling I'm going to live a very long time. Hicktown Honey says, stress does not serve your body, so why worry when God has your back? Exactly. Well, that's the ultimate one. It's like, hey, do you believe God is real? Do you believe that God has a plan? Do you believe that you're part of that plan? What are you worried about then? Feminized men. You can say, is it feminized to push down your stuff till it kills you? Maybe. I mean, in that way, when women do act out and they do get emotional, I suppose it is cathartic in some way. At least it's escaping. But then it's like it becomes poison to everybody around you. And I don't know if it really escapes. I think when you start saying things out loud, you know, when you use speech, when you use the word or you know, your ability to speak, and you say these things, I am this, I am that. What does that do? What are the spiritual repercussions of doing that? I am so sick of this. I don't know. Let's see. Emily said, in the DMs, there is Father Somebody clips. Ooh, I got that horrifying AI demon on my thing here. Let's play this clip, biatch. All right, let's see what it is. Is it this one? I don't know which one it is. Oh, that's all the way from July, so it's got to be this one. Okay. This is only a minute long. Is it this? What are demons? This dude's old as dirt, baby. We'll pull this up in a second. Give me one moment here. Should try to get him on. Yeah, before he expires. That's not nice. I'm just playing. Share this tab instead, and let's get to it. Boop. Dr. Taylor Marshall.
What are demons?
When they were originally created, they were created in a state of innocence. They were holy. They actually had sanctifying grace. St. Thomas even says that they infused virtues of faith, hope, and charity. So St. Thomas says there's 3 instances. He says the first instance, they're created in this perfect act of knowing. Then they make a choice, follow what God has asked of them. And if not, they reject him. And the third instance, they're immediately damned or immediately rewarded with the beatific vision. Basically, the demons are the ones who refuse their assigned task, that is, their fallen angels.
Why does God allow them, beginning with Eve, to have influence in human affairs?
Demons weren't in our life. People would be pretty spiritually mediocre, I think. But also, as we fight against the demons, the amount of energy and the focus we have to put into doing the battle, we actually become more virtuous as a result. One of the reasons is that people simply don't have any virtue. You know, in the past, if you liberated somebody, they could plug into a culture that was at least quasi-virtuous. You know, you could lead a virtuous life and people would accept that and think it's actually a good thing, where now it's not that case.
What are demons?
When they were originally created.
That's interesting. So that is contrary to the Enoch line of thinking, which by the way, I grow increasingly skeptical of. The more I look at the book of Enoch, the more I go, it's a fascinating book, right? I know that Enoch is referenced, that Jesus references Enoch. But it is non-canonical or extra-canonical. I mean, it's not non-canonical completely because Enoch is referenced. So there's some aspect of it that is canonical, but it's omitted. Although I know the Ethiopians keep it in their Bible. It's just something I go back and forth on because, mostly because I see it being popularized by people that I'm highly skeptical of. So like I'm not too sure, and I don't have any problems in pushing it away if I find information that makes me go, no, I think there's something up here. This is like, you know, it's called Nephilim Death Squad, but that doesn't mean that like we're somehow so tied into the book of Enoch that is the cornerstone of the cornerstone of my faith is Jesus Christ. Everything else, you know, can be moved around, but that's the central component. So obviously in the book of Enoch, it says that these are the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim. What he's saying here is that these things were created and then chose to rebel, but they were created kind of, what did he say here? Let's play this back.
They were created in a state of innocence. They were holy. They actually had sanctifying grace. St. Thomas even says that they infused virtues of faith, hope, and charity. So St. Thomas says there's three instances. He says the first instance, they're created in this perfect act of knowing. Then they make a choice, follow what God has asked of them. And if not, they reject him. In the third instance, they're immediately damned or immediately rewarded with the beatific vision. Basically, the demons are the ones who refuse their assigned task, that is, they're fallen angels.
Well, that's interesting. So he's saying that they're fallen angels. And I don't know shit, but the way that I kind of looked at it is like when the Bible talks about devils, demons, and unclean spirits, I looked at devils much more so as, fallen angels. But I mean, I don't really know anything at all. So it's interesting. What is a Bath? Yeah, I don't know what that is. Maybe Nathaniel Gillis is right. It's all the same thing, manifest in the way that you want to believe it. Well, maybe. But I do think that these things have a nature. And I do think that the Bible explains their nature better than pretty much anything else. Demons aren't fallen angels. They're offspring of the fallen angels and humans, right? Well, that's how I would look at it. But then again, I'm an idiot, and so I'm certainly no authority on the topic. So I guess the way that I sort of rationalized it is like you might call a fallen angel a devil. And then you would call its offspring a Nephilim. And when that offspring dies, its spirit doesn't ascend and it's kind of lost here in this parallel realm. And that disembodied spirit is what we would call demons. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that he's saying anything too differently here, though. He's calling a fallen angel a demon. It's a very, very minor deviation. I would be interested in what he has to say about what the Bible calls devils, and then also unclean spirits. That's an interesting one. Unclean spirits remind me of like familiar spirits, but I don't know what those are, what their origins are, where they come from, any of that kind of thing. I think Nathaniel Gillis's research is on point for sure. I think he just leaves biblical terminology out of it so he can bring everyone into the conversation. I think that that's probably pretty accurate. But I think when you remove the biblical language from it, and I would hope that through an elongated conversation, he would eventually reintroduce it, just because I think the Bible nails the nature of these things so well. This is a fascinating clip, though. Chad Ripperger. He's got a dope-ass name. Exorcist and author of Deliverance Prayers. Huh. All right. It's late. It's 2 hours in. I got stuff to do. We're not going to take the calls today. I think Wednesday night at 7, what we'll do is we'll do a really short segment and we'll get straight into calls. He's also Catholic. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I'm not really not too worried about, how do I explain this? So like all the denominations and everything, Catholicism, and then, Protestants and even like Mormons, like Top was fighting with the Mormons recently. And I think the guy that started the conversations, like Lego Joseph Smith, started off with basically shitting on Christians and the idea of the Trinity. It's my understanding that they have something pretty similar within Mormonism called the Triune Godhead or something like that, or just the Godhead. I might be butchering that, but when you look at it, it's pretty similar in concept. And I think it's like people just trying to figure out that there is this separation of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, but there is this massive overlap where they are one and the same. And I think the problem is we're all wrestling with the creator of the universe who exists outside of the time and space constraints of the physical realm. And we're trying to understand how one could be these three different things, You know, so like Mormons will make this meme where it's like, hey, God, it's kind of a funny meme. It's like, hey, God, it's me, you, and it's Jesus praying. But like so far what I've read, it's like the language does insinuate there is like I think honestly the Trinity does a really great job of showing that as a symbol. You know, you have these three circles that are separate, but there is a center section that overlaps. So it's like they are these separate things, but somehow there is this big center section that conjoins them all. So in that way, I find the Trinity as a symbol very fascinating, because if that is really what's going on, then it does a really great job of depicting that. But this all feels like arguing about the minutia of the thing. And like, I know I bust Catholics' balls, and sometimes it's fun to bust the balls of Mormons too. But it's like, do you believe that Jesus Christ was sent to pave our way to redemption, and that he died, and that he was resurrected, and that he ascended? You know, like when Jesus says to the apostles, I think it's the apostles, that he has to go so that help can be sent. So he's like saying, like, I have to go now so that the Holy Spirit can go, because Jesus is not, he can't be in all these different places at once. So he has to leave so that the Holy Spirit can be sent to us as help. I don't know. It all just feels like, sometimes I wonder, it almost seems foolish to think like one denomination or whatever has it 100% correct, and that within all denominations there are genuine believers of Jesus Christ who are after the heart of God, who want a relationship with him, who believe that he's their savior. But all the infighting is, what does the Bible say about breaking up the church? And I don't know if it's worded as the church or if it's breaking up the body of Christ, or I forget exactly what the language is. But yeah, in other words, like, I don't care. You know, if you want to have conversations, you want to debate these little topics here and there, like, that's fine. But like, totally, like that guy, Joseph Smith, was basically saying, like, Christians are fucking retarded for believing the Trinity. And then he goes on later on to basically say, like, we're not even worshiping the same God. I'm like, I don't know if that's accurate, dog. It's like, if you could just start by saying, like, is Jesus Christ your Lord and Savior? Yes. You love God. You believe that he sent his only begotten Son to pave the way for us for redemption, to heal us, all these different things. Yes. Well, who cares? Or at least, like, it's not to say who cares. Like, yeah, these are interesting things to get into, but like, why would you then let it be this driving wedge between you and somebody else who also believes in Jesus Christ? I don't know. Maybe I'm retarded. It's probably for the best. Probably for the best. That's baseline denial, Messiah denial, being unable to fathom that there is one truth. Well, it's not that I don't fathom that there's one truth. And I don't know if you're really saying, like, if I'm interpreting that the right way. But it's like, I think God would really, considering he's the God of forgiveness, forgive a guy that couldn't, or a girl, or a non-binary Zimzer, who couldn't figure out, like, the fucking, but was genuinely, and only God knows your heart, right? That was genuinely seeking God. That was genuinely wanting God's presence in their life, that genuinely wanted redemption, that genuinely repented, that was genuinely seeking the truth. I don't know if it makes a lot of sense that God would be like, you fucking believed in that Godhead thing, stupid. To hell with you. I'm like, no, stupid is the key component here. Like, I get a lot of shit wrong. I hope God forgives me. All right, anyway, I got to go, guys. Stop. You're keeping me here too long. Let's make this big screen. Beep. beep, 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 and boom. All right, keep an eye out. Wednesday, we're going to be doing another one of these. And let me see if I can tell you what's coming up soon. I know we got Straight Bible and then another Bible study that we're doing with Matt on Wednesday. Tomorrow, we're having John Lenhart on with Ed Mabry. And I think he's bringing one of his Buddhist friends, which is going to be interesting. I don't know how that's going to go. And then, we have to reschedule with, oh my God. We got a lot of stuff coming up this week. Keep an eye out for it. Did you just call John Lenhart the lazy glutton? Buddha. I was like, that's not nice. That's a cope, David. Maybe. Could be a cope. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but likely is. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you more than likely tomorrow. All right. Peace out, guys. What the shit? That didn't work. There it goes.